Hey guys, welcome back. This is my day 7 recording for my Alpha 16.4 first week playthrough. So when I came inside from day 6, I'd started building a platform off to the side of my base. That's where I'm going to handle the day 7 Horde. And overnight, I've assigned a few skill points. The only one I put one in minor 69er here. I also put a point into Quality Joe, however many points it took, 10 points I think. So Quality Joe is super important. As soon as it unlocks, which it just unlocked for me, because you have to have scavenging up to 20 before you can put the first level into Quality Joe. But it adds 25 points to any loot that I find on quality level. So it's just a straight up buff, and you should always put your points into Quality Joe as soon as you can. Besides that, I made some iron bars, which I'm going to be... I had extra iron, so iron bars aren't strictly needed, and we'll talk about some other options for things to shoot through. But iron bars are the best, and since I had plenty of extra iron, I thought I'd go ahead and make some iron bars, plus I had the time on the forge here. We finished our wood spikes from yesterday that we started on those, and I ate some food, drank some goldenrod tea. I got a little extra being made there because you never know when it might come in handy. And it's daylight now, so we're going to go... Now, one other thing that I was going to make, so I made a workbench. You guys probably saw it there. Right now it's crafting arrows for me. It's not the side. This is. The workbench I was making to originally make a mining helmet, because we haven't gotten a mining helmet yet, and I really like to have one for the 7-day Horde to shine a little extra light where I'm shooting my arrows. So as it turns out, I don't have everything needed for the mining helmet itself. So I'm missing a few electrical parts, and I guess I didn't keep any scrap plastics. I know I've picked some up, but I must have dropped them, decided that they weren't that useful yet this early in the game. So at some point, I'm going to run and try to grab the electrical parts and the scrap plastics that I need to make that happen. I believe I can get all of that stuff from breaking down TVs. So, first things first though, I'm going to go ahead and get this built out. So we do have that crate dropping at noon, and I would like to go and grab that. I've got some extra flagstone blocks here, so I'm just going to kind of complete my row. There's not really any benefit to using them here as far as structural stability goes, or integrity. I'm just using them because I've got extras. So okay, so could use the rest of those, but I'm not gonna. I didn't bother pre-making a bunch of wood frames because wood frames craft super duper quickly. So to start with, I'm just going to fill in the hole, and I will pull out the center ones. So I'm going to need a lot more wood frames than that. Oop, not that many though. Okay. So the idea here now, I could shoot through wood frames. The only thing about wood frames is that there's a chance for me to accidentally pick one up when I'm standing on it, or leave a hole. And they only take about 1 or 2 hits from the zombies. So they get knocked out really easily. So I'm probably not going to go with them. I think what I am going to do is take out those 4. Probably make it 6. This guy here looks like he's coming to fight. Hard to hit a headshot on those guys. And now he's doing the spinny thing. That's real obnoxious. Took way more arrows than I was wanting to use, but okay. And we'll leave the center 6 out in there too. So we're going to put the iron bars in. Advanced rotation is to hold down R and select advanced. And then we're going to turn them so that the bars are on the top. That makes it smooth to walk over. So now I got at least 4 right here that are going to be nice and easy to shoot through. That'll probably be my main spot to stand on. So the other things that we can do here is arrow slits are probably our next best. Anything that we don't fall through is fine. So I believe wood pole centered, as long as it's only 1 block wide, would work. This bird keeps on buzzing me. Doesn't seem to really want to come down and fight. And then I said that. And I'm infected immediately. Damn bird. Well, unfortunately, I don't think that I actually have any honey or antibiotic now. Run upstairs and look real quick. All it takes just 1 hit. Nope, no honey, no antibiotics. Well, there's a crate dropping at noon. Hopefully it'll have 1 of the 2 in it. Whoops. If it doesn't, well, then I guess we know what the next mission will be. So we're gonna make arrow slits. Six. Okay, so these are cheap and easy, and they don't require much thought from me. I may, if I have time yet, I might come back and try to replace them with something else with a little more visibility. Because as great as they are, as kind of an easy solution, they really don't have that much visibility compared to a lot of the other options. but they certainly work. Okay. And I didn't actually make a hammer. I should have, because it would have been just one hit per block. I used up my one hammer that I had making the workbench. That's okay. This is not so many blocks that I need to have a hammer for it. And I'm not going to upgrade any of this stuff really past the first level. We're out of wood. We're eventually going to want to put out the torches, but I think I'm going to wait on those because they do start to generate a little heat. I might get an extra horde because of them. There's a TV here. Let's see if I'm right about getting scrap plastic from TVs. Yeah, I am. That TV right there might have given me enough of what I needed. I think it did. Stupid burn. Oops. Okay, so we're gonna go get some more wood. As I mentioned earlier, I've got arrows crafting up in the workbench, so that's my main thing. I got my platform, I got my arrows. Worst case scenario, I'd probably be fine. I mean, worst case scenario, I could hide on the roof of this building as long as I've knocked out the ladders and the stairs. They probably wouldn't bring down the building on the 7-day horde on me. But it'd be nice to be able to kill a bunch of them because that gives you really good XP, helps you level up faster. We're hot. Are we wearing our hat? We are wearing our hat. Well, not much to do there then. We'll go back inside in here in a minute. Just being underneath this cover helps. So yeah, like I said, the 7-day horde, none of the zombies in it are particularly dangerous. It's mostly just regular zombies running. There's no spitters, there's no climbers usually. There's rarely any dogs. You'd have to just get real unlucky, I think, to have any. So with that in mind, I'm not going to spend a ton of resources upgrading this. I also don't expect to stay here for the day 14. I'm going to end the video series after day 7, and then if I do continue to play this seed, I will actually head on down the road. It's funny that the bird's nests sound like you're breaking boards. Okay. So what I want to do... Now, if this was day 14 or beyond, I would want to dig this out and replace all the blocks underneath of these spikes with either more spikes, so two layers deep, or at the very least have them replaced with flagstone blocks. And then in later hordes, you definitely want to be 2 deep, and you'd want to have like concrete underneath of them. I'm not going to worry about that for this 7-day horde here, but just something to keep in mind for the later ones. So I want my most deadly spikes right underneath that spot right there where I'm going to stand. I think I can make one more to make that a nice square. tell already that I'm going to need a ton more wood log spikes. So we're going to need to go get some more wood. Lots more wood. So the word need is maybe a bit of a misnomer there. I don't need them, but I like to have the whole area underneath there kind of covered up, or at the very least I want to have all of the area around the supports covered up. On the off chance that a zombie would go rogue and start beating on my supports, I want to make sure that they're not able to do so forever. Sooner or later the spike will kill them. Being infected is really hurting my stamina here. So I forgot that I threw my fire axe in the forge and I was going to make a new one, and then I forgot to actually make a new one. So it's okay though. This isn't any slower really. Okay. I definitely want to get all along the side of the building here covered. So the kicker about these wooden spikes is that they break super fast at this level. So really for them to be very useful at all. Oops, that's not where I wanted that one. I need to upgrade them, which takes more wood. So the whole thing just takes a ton of wood. Get some more wood while we're waiting for those to craft. I don't think I'm actually going to fill the entire area up underneath there. Seems like a bit of overkill. So I think I'll just focus on this side where the area is right underneath my killing grates. So I want to make a few more at least. I'm losing ground. I'll make some more. Those things used to be really cheap to make as far as the wood cost went. Now they're really not cheap at all. I still like them better than the wood. Wood spikes. So let's take 20 wood versus 15. And while the wood spikes do more damage, they're not nearly as durable. So I might use wood spikes if I am looking to use those like while I'm doing a one of the skyscrapers. So I might put down some wood spikes in front of me before I like open a door and pull a bunch of zombies in order for them to run across them and get damaged. Or killed even, maybe. And slow them down. Although for slowing, you're better off than to make barbed wire. It doesn't do as much damage to the zombies, but it slows them down for a long time while they're walking through it. So, yeah. I'm sure other people will have other opinions, but I just, in the current iteration, I don't see a lot of use out of the wood spikes, and I still do use a lot of wood log spikes. Alright, so that's a good little chunk right there. And we'll go ahead and put a few here. Now, of course, as I say that, like I said, the wood spikes need to be upgraded, whereas the wood log spikes need to be upgraded to be really useful, whereas the wood spikes don't. So, you know what? We'll go ahead and put a few down just for kicks here. So I suppose by the time that I spend the money upgrading them, they're just as expensive. Okay. So I'm not terribly worried about those, but I do want to make sure this first row right here is upgraded. Okay. Yeah, if I get time and extra wood, I might come back and upgrade the rest of these, but for the moment, that's a perfectly serviceable defense. So I'm going to go upstairs because it's almost time for that air drop to... And I'm going to try to make a mining helmet. Arrows. Mining helmet. 30 seconds, that's not bad. Get rid of some stuff here that I don't need to keep on me. It's a pretty low quality mining helmet. I probably should have put a few points into my armor crafting before I made that, or miscellaneous. I'm not sure if that's armor or miscellaneous, actually. But for the moment it's hot outside, so I'm going to keep my cowboy hat on. And we'll just have that mining helmet on there for when it gets dark, or in my inventory. There's the plane. Hopefully it is going to be a little kinder to me this time. I don't think there's any large body of water in that direction that it can drop my chest into. Although it did go ahead and drop it way out there, didn't it? So as I'm running here in one direction through the city, it's really noticeable. The pop in and the chunks loading is really noticeable. You can see the stutter. Unfortunately, that's been in the game for as long as I can remember, and I don't think it's gonna get a lot better. Just because it's a voxel-based game, it seems like it just really uses a lot of resources and it doesn't try to load very far out. The distant buildings and all that business, that helped a ton with as far as like gameplay wise, being able to see farther out there, see where I'm heading, be able to find a town from a distance, but it didn't really do anything for performance. I'll let myself get a little low on stamina here. Okay, so now we just gotta hope I get lucky. Oh, I got lucky. The game glitched. Left the parachute open. Just a zombie stuck on a cactus, but it really sounded like a cop zombie about to explode. Okay. Antibiotics, just like I hoped. Worth the trip. No books, unfortunately, but we'll take what we can get. It's another one of those forge bases. So I'm actually going to stop here. I know for a fact there's a bookshelf. Whoa. Come on, guy. And nothing. Well, that was worthless. So, always worth checking the bookshelves. I don't think I've been in this building here yet. This looks like a church. I wouldn't be surprised if that had a bunch of bookshelves in it. I may come back here and loot that before I leave town. Sometimes the cowboys have good loot, so I always like to stop and kill them if I can. Actually, the same is true for the lumberjacks and the bikers, but the lumberjacks and the bikers both take way more hits. The cowboys usually only take about 2 or 3 hits. So while we're running along here, I could be picking up rocks. Except apparently there's not any rocks on the road now. Alright, so we found our crate. That's the way it's supposed to work when it doesn't want to drop it at the bottom of a pond. We're getting overheated here. Hopefully I get it back to the base and I'll just duck inside for a bit to cool off. If we keep getting overheated, that could be an issue tonight while I'm fighting the Horde. So I might want to see if I have the stuff to make an animal poncho. Animal hide poncho. So the plant fiber hat or the cowboy hat, that's the first step in not overheating. Beyond that, the only thing you can really do is make an animal hide poncho. Poncho. Or leather poncho. Okay, they've renamed it to leather poncho. 20 leather. Got 11 leather and another 11 animal hide. Go ahead and turn that into leather. Got another beaker. Beakers are really a dime for a dozen now. It's kind of weird. We got a challenge that's going to have me killing the bears. I'm a ways away from wanting to kill any bears, so I'm going to keep the antibiotic on me, actually. Broken glass is useless. Just put it over here. I'll go ahead and make a poncho. So you see my wellness is going up pretty fast. It's not even the end of the week and I've already got 14 points of wellness. Just because I've been eating mostly bacon and eggs instead of the canned food. Hey, that poncho's taking forever. Okay, so I did put some points into armor crafting, obviously. So that means that the mining helmet is governed by the miscellaneous crafting, and I didn't put any points into that. And that's fine, it doesn't matter. It's mostly there for the light, not really expecting to get hit a bunch. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. What I'd like to do, oh, I remember now, these buzzards, they send them out after you to remind you that it's the 7-day. Nearly impossible to get unless you've got a shotgun, though, until they attack. Be nice to get rid of him. Come back here, you little booger. Alright, apparently I should just hit him here. He's gonna keep dive bombing me. Stop wasting arrows on him. Haha. Okay. So I think the last thing that I need to do is light the place up. And good lighting is going to be super helpful here. So I'm going to put quite a bit of it on here. And when I'm all said and done, I will probably wish I had put more. Oh, that's weird. Unless you can get like right in front of it. Sometimes it's hard to get them to face the right direction. The lighting's a little odd anyway, in the fact that it doesn't seem to always respect walls or anything else that blocks it. So I'm betting that even these torches that I put on the outside edges are going to provide plenty of light for the inside. So not much for me to do now. I'm going to gather up a little extra wood. I'm going to make a few extra arrows in case I need them. I'm going to redo my bow to make sure it's at full durability. Let's see, we want about 40. No, that's not right. We want about 30 arrows. Give myself a full stack. One bad thing about the wood log spikes, is that if they kill the zombie, if the zombie dies to them, then you don't get the credit for the kill and you don't gain any XP for it. So as much as possible I want to put arrows into the zombies and kind of finish them off with headshots, which do a big chunk of damage all at once, so that I get credit for the kill. So as you can see, I could have accomplished all of this in about a half a day. This is a lot of time running around chasing loot crates, which I didn't necessarily have to do today. I could have just marked it on the map and gone and got it tomorrow. And a lot of time cutting down trees, which I could have been done at any time in the week previous. As far as the actual setup goes, and plus what I've got over there is really more than enough. Could have gotten by with about half of that and still been very comfortable. And of course, like I keep pointing out, I could have gotten by with none of that and been alive at the end of the day. I wouldn't have gained much from it, but as long as I got onto a roof of a fairly large building and I stayed away from the edges, eventually they'll knock a hole into the building and then stand in the middle of the building. They'll probably destroy all the interior stuff, but the structural stability of the building isn't likely to change. So a couple of ideas. If I wanted to, I could be putting down some barbed wire either underneath this thing just to slow them down and make them easier to shoot, or out along the edges here to slow them down as they walk in, make them easier to shoot again. If I had a gun, I would probably be more interested in doing that, but with the bow and arrow, they're gonna get through pretty quickly to where I'm focusing on the ones directly underneath me, so it's just not worth the resources it's gonna take here. For day 14, I'll probably do some barbed wire, and then beyond day 14, I definitely start to put some barbed wire or some electric fences up. Oh, Kevin. There's some glitchiness with the arrows not going through grass and stuff like that. So if I can, I'm just gonna clear out a little bit of area around this thing so that I don't have to deal with my arrows and just not hitting them because they're sitting in the grass. Okay, so the one other thing I need to do, which is I need to cover up all of my edges. So, and what I mean by that is, on the off chance that we would get a climbing zombie here, a spider zombie, I want to make sure that they can't climb up. Now the torches, I believe, act as a barrier to that, so they probably couldn't have climbed up those sides anyway. But so the only places where they could have climbed up would have been And they don't seem to be able to climb up and then turn to go onto a platform, so I don't think that... Although if they'd climbed up right here, and then they hit their head on that roof, it's possible they'd catch the platform when they were falling, and maybe land on my platform. So for this, wood frames are sufficient. They can't attack upwards, and they don't attack upwards. I'm going all the way around the edges, because sometimes I like to walk out onto the edge to get a better look at who's beating on my posts, if there's somebody standing there just wailing on them. But bare minimum, I only really needed the blocks right here where they could have climbed up on. These out here, really, I don't need a block. Oops, forgot to put those down on the far. And funny enough, I can't even put a block right there, because that little quarter wood bar counts as a block. It fills that whole voxel up. Okay. Get a few extra. $1,800, they give you a little warning. Bad stuff's coming. Get ready. We are ready. I don't think... Yeah, I think what keeps me playing this game over and over and over again and starting over like I do, to the point where... Whoops, I got a horde. That's some unfortunate timing for a horde. So I really don't want them to go through my defenses and wreck them up. And I got the time. So I'm going to go ahead and fight them. Worst case scenario, I duck back in the house. They walk through the defenses. Ah, these guys. With head bobs. It's not really much of a horde here. Yeah, I got a level off of that. So as I was saying, the thing that keeps me playing and possibly... Oh. Looks like the rest of the horde just got stuck over there. Huh. I think I'm going to jack with them. I think I'll leave them be. If they make their way over here, great. And if they don't, tough luck. So what keeps me playing, as I try again, is the fact that there's a lot of randomness in the game. Like, even though I've used this particular defensive setup over and over and over again, and it's worked 9 times out of 10, there's always that chance that 10th time, and I've had it happen to me, where maybe they come from this direction over here, bust their way into the house, and in the process of breaking through trying to get to underneath me, break just the right combination of blocks to where they've got a clear path up here to me. I've actually had that happen once, last alpha I think, where I was feeling pretty good about getting up onto the roof of a 3-story building, and ended that night by being chased across a pond. I had to actually run for a pond just to get away from them. because I got attacked by dogs on the roof of that 3-story building because they managed to knock out just the right combination of blocks to where they were able to get from a little shed that was down in the backyard of that building up onto the low-hanging sloped roof of the building. So that was quite a nasty little surprise. I heard them down there and I thought to myself, boy, I'm just doing fine up here, all safe and sound. And all of a sudden there was a dog in my face, so I got lucky. But stuff like that keeps the game fresh. You know, as annoying as it is to potentially walk over a landmine or get attacked by a dog where you're not expecting it, there's also those moments of where I can really appreciate what's going on here. You know, where they do just hit the right combination of blocks to be able to get to you, or where you get infected and then surrounded and you don't have the stamina to be able to get back out again. Or where you open a door in a salon and there happens to be a cop zombie standing right there. Sounds like that horde broke loose. Now they're wandering across my defenses. They're probably going to put a hurt on those. Or where the game gives you a horde at 1800 hours on night 7. So one thing I mentioned earlier was that I was going to build a workbench even though I don't plan on staying here, because I can put down the land claim block and be able to pick it back up again. So if I put down my land claim block, check, I think it has some info on it. Yeah, it doesn't actually say. Well, I guess I can't see how much area I'm claiming until after I'm done. So I'm going to kind of split the difference on the two and go right here. So what I'd like to do is be able to claim both the forge and the workbench back again, just for demonstrating. So now once that's down, you have this ability right here to take the item. I'm holding, by the way, I'm holding down the E button. So now I can actually pick that up. I think you lose anything that's in it, so you want to make sure you empty out the items. Yeah, there, I can pick that up. And pick up the campfire if I wanted to. Not the chests. Holding E brings up those menus that I was just doing there. But so if I move on from this spot now, I'm going to take that workbench and that forge with me, I think. The forge is not a big deal. I can make another forge in a hurry, but the workbench, definitely don't want to have to bother with that. So we're going to make a new bow. Check, make sure I couldn't level anything up. I can't. Just going to go ahead and do this while I'm in here. Make a new stun axe. Sounds like I'm actually getting unlucky and some zombie has gotten stuck in the building and is down there just breaking stuff. So hopefully it's not breaking anything important. F when you're wearing a mining helmet, F turns on the mining helmet. F like flashlight. So in this horde I don't expect a lot of buzzards, but if I did, on the later hordes you start to get more buzzards with the hordes, And in that case, I'm going to want to be covered up so I'm not getting pestered by them or attacked by them while I'm up here shooting. So this open frame here is not the greatest going past like day 21 or so. Just a few of them up until that point, so it's not a big deal. Nice little stack of spikes there. Nothing to do now but wait. If I get lucky, they'll come from one of the 3 directions that are open and not go through the house. But even if they go through the house, it's not a big deal since I'm not gonna stay here anyway. You guys can see through the arrow slits here. Once I crouch down, I've got a decent view. But not nearly as good as the iron bars. So that's why I really like the iron bars better. And this all is just obviously for a platform. If I was going to stand at ground level and shoot at them, I'd probably try to use some pillars or something that I could actually loot through. Yeah, those are things that you can shoot through, that they can't get through. You can't walk through them, but you can still reach through and loot the corpses. In this case, there won't be that many of them. That I should have most of the bodies still there in the morning, and I can go down and loot them in the morning. But on later hordes, the bodies will stack up to the point where the old ones get destroyed, and then you'll lose that loot. Looks like maybe from over there and over there. So I'm going to stay crouching because even though they know where I'm at, crouching gives me a nice little crosshair. Super hard to hit these crawlers. It's the only bad thing about this setup. I don't know that I've gotten credit for any of these kills so far. Not having great luck hitting the headshots. Oh, maybe. There we go. I got him. So I'm actually getting colds. Of course, the best laid plans. Take that poncho off. Should fix that. They come in waves. So this is this next wave. I don't expect I'll get a ton more beyond this. I think it's likely that after this wave, I might have hit our max. It's an ominous thunder. Oh, I must have been killing a few of these at least, getting credit for the kills. So one thing you notice, so far I've just been standing in one spot, letting them throw themselves against these metal spikes. But if this was going to be a larger horde, or if these were starting to get worn out a little more, I could be running up and down, kind of spreading them out, making them hit the other spikes over there. In fact, we'll go over here just to see how these spikes do. So it looks to me like those spikes, the wood spikes proper, they killed the zombies really quick, but they're already one of them's missing. The other two are both really damaged. So, guys, just not a lot of durability on those. One obnoxious thing is when they get stuck like this underneath the other bodies and you can't really hit them. Another reason why it's super important to have the spikes underneath. So when that happens, at least they're taking damage from the spikes. So I actually just lost a block right there. It looks like some zombies out there. Just banging away. So if this thing was laid out a little differently, if my supports were a little further apart, losing that block could have been catastrophic, and it could have dropped the whole thing down on them. When structural integrity fails in this game, you're never quite sure how much of the structure it's going to take with it. So even though these blocks are all attached to this wall, it's definitely possible that a good chunk of this would have gone down with that. In this case, because I was attaching to a solid wall right here, every single row of blocks basically is counting as being attached to a structurally stable block, the wall. So with that in mind, I may not have even needed the supports out there. I could have probably built this freestanding, but then if they knock out a single block in the wall, it's possible that you're going to start losing blocks randomly out of your platform. So this way everything is nice and doubled up, and I can lose a block here and there and not have to worry too much about it dropping me down onto the zombies. I'm really surprised that they're still coming. I guess that the game has decided that my game stage is high enough to warrant extra zombies. As soon as I think... So you also see the amount of damage to the block below it. Those big zombies with the kind of dark gray shirts, they do a ton of damage to blocks, as you can see there. And the flagstone, while it's a good sight better than wood, still doesn't withstand zombies damaging it for very long. I got stuck in this house over here. I really don't need to be shooting at him anymore, but I'm really wasting a lot of arrows. But I got nothing else to shoot at. It kind of annoys me. Well, it's super annoying that he knocked out an entire wall worth of blocks at that height. He doesn't do enough damage to anything above or below that height for him to actually be able to walk out of. Hope they take another pass at zombie AI in the future. Because right now it's just kind of garbage. I think he's still alive. I think I just blew off his leg there, so now he's a crawler and he's maybe hitting that block, yeah. So eventually he'll get out of there. But that's definitely it for the Horde. So as you can see, actually that was a fairly decent amount of zombies, and they did put quite a little bit of damage on my spikes. I'm missing one right there. None of my metal spikes are particularly damaged, though. I guess that one, maybe in that corner, is pretty damaged, but it didn't even go down an entire upgrade level. So, not much danger there. Platform held out well. I lost one block here on that center column that I wasn't expecting to, but I didn't bother to upgrade those spikes around him either, so it looks like where he was standing, yeah, right there, there's no spike anymore. That had probably taken too much damage and disappeared. But that's it. So going forward, so that's the end of the series right there, but going forward, if I was going to keep playing this, and I might keep playing this, I'd be picking up everything tomorrow morning, emptying out all my forge materials, going through my boxes here, taken the stuff that's the most important. And the idea would be that I'm probably not going to be coming back here anytime soon. Maybe when I have a mini bike, I might swing back by and pick up some extra stuff in there. But I'd want to take anything with me that I definitely wanted to keep. And then I'd head down the road, even though I haven't looted a good chunk of this town, and it is a good-sized town. And I would come back to it someday for the high-rises, skyscrapers. But it just doesn't have enough commercial buildings in it to bother standing around looting at the houses. So I'd probably head down the road and try to find some more commercial buildings in another town. And just keep looking for books. The idea basically being at this point that I want to find the mini bike book and the pistol book. Those two are the big ones for me. Any gun book is good, but pistol book and the mini bike book are my two big ones. Once I can make a mini bike, once I have a mini bike, that's, as far as I'm concerned, almost like that's end game. That's game over for me personally, because I don't have a lot of interest in just building randomly anymore, just because I've done it so many times. Although that is really super fun, and I highly suggest that you do it if you've not put 1,200 hours into the game. But once I have the mini bike, that's a whole different ball game. The game really changes. You got a lot of mobility. You can go places and loot things. You can afford to just go out looking for specific things to loot. You can build gather up a lot of resources really fast and build some really cool bases. So, but anyway, if you guys watched the entire series all the way through this, I hope you weren't disappointed with the 7th day Horde, and I hope you picked up some good information along the ways. Look for another first day guide when Alpha 17 drops. And check out other people's videos on some of the 7-day stuff. I know there are several good videos out there pertaining to topics like can zombies see through windows and stuff like that, and those are super useful and helpful. Not made by me, by the way. So, thanks for watching, guys.